Mr. Josh Warrington, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, Gareth. How's yourself?
Very good, thank you. It's great to see you. It's a fascinating time for you. You've gone from one small mistake in your career, and I saw you saying the other day, everybody kind of had one off night,
Yeah.
to a magnificent knockout of Kiko Martinez.
Yeah.
And now you've got a guy, Luis Lopez, another Mexican,
Yeah.
who's probably coming to try and scalp you in your next fight.
Yeah, definitely. He's, I can't really get upset about it because I'm a champion and we're hunted. We're hunted. Everyone wants to be where you are. The king sitting on the throne. Everyone wants to be in that position. So you can't get upset about it. He's ambitious. He's going to be full of confidence. He's going to think that his country counterpart, Michel Lara, he can follow the suit and do the same thing. But I believe that he's not mixed in the same kind of caliber that I've mixed in. And I know that Michel Lara hadn't done before that, but my mindset going into that one was a little bit different. This time round, I feel fully focused on the job. I know he's going to bring a lot of pressure. I know he's going to bring excitement, but he's stepping into my backyard, and I don't lose at home.
Talking about Lopez for a minute, I've watched him once. It was the Isaac Lowe fight.
Yes.
I mean, he's tenacious and he's strong. It's a fantastic matchup for us as fans.
Mm-hmm.
But we know what you can do. You can box, you can punch, you can knock people out. I mean, you showed that against Kiko Martinez. I mean, you're never in a dull fight. There's never a dull moment with you. I mean, how's your engine?
I can't argue, Gareth. It's good. I mean, they say you get to your 30s and you slow down, and but I feel like I'm in my prime years. I think for a long time when I was coming through, it used to sit on my mind a lot. Fucking hell, 12 rounds, oh man! I used to try like make things in my head to make it not feel so long, or just it's only 3 1-minute rounds. That's all it is. Break it into little one thing like that, or you're only doing like 4 3-round fights. That's all you're doing, but just after each other.
Yeah.
But these days, mate, I mean, I started sparring about a month ago, and first spar we did was 10 rounds with 2 guys. So it's like I feel I've been doing it a long time now, Gareth. I'm conditioned to it. Yeah, of course, I'll play scenarios in my head, but man, I'm fit enough to do that, no problem. So yeah, the engine's still there, mate.
How validating was it for you get the IBF belt back and to win in such emphatic fashion against Kiko Martinez, though?
It was massive. Obviously, I always thought it was going to be a big fight and dangerous fight. The power that Kiko has got. Probably until about 2 weeks before, and then he started talking about whoever loses this is more or less finished. And I'm thinking, I'm fucking ready to retire. And then Kiko's talking about how he's visualized the punch that's going to knock me out for the last 5 years since we last boxed. And I'm thinking, I know all about visualization. I do that myself, and if he's been doing it for that long, then bloody hell, what's going to happen here? But to win, and to win the way we did, and with all those people who came out to see me, and from the first bell to the last, screaming and shouting and making the noise, it was right up there, Gareth. Really special night.
Well, you weren't lying to us when you said you just had an off night in that first fight with Mauricio Lara. It was COVID, no crowd. Obviously disappointing in the second fight. Is there still a willingness? I think he's 3 in the division. I think he's ranked 3 or something in the division. Obviously, Lopez is the mandatory, isn't he?
Yeah, that's correct.
Is there a desire from you to fight him again? Is there a need in your mind, sportingly, kind of like psychologically, to want to fight him again?
Yeah, most definitely, Gareth. I mean, going into the first fight, I didn't believe any man could beat me. I feel like I'd come through every single style. I'd been through the boxers, I'd been through the fighters, I'd been through the switch hitters, I'd been through almost 6 foot Japanese fighter. So I dealt with everything and I always found a way to win. And Mauricio's the only man who's had me loss and obviously the draw. But when I look down my record, you think he's not Kiko, he's not Carl Frampton, he's not Lee Selby, he's not Kid Gallard. You know, how's he managed to get that? And it's like, I just like to put it to bed. And you know, I even mention it to people I know. They said, "Do you really need it?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, I do for myself." You know, I say if a junior fight is a vision, then I'd love to, you know, have a third and put it to bed. Yes, he is a dangerous fighter. Yes, he carries power, but you know that isn't everything. And I sound like an hypocrite because he knocked me out, but when you're taking punches clean on the chin for 9 rounds, you know, then it's going to chip you away at you eventually. So I think myself going into that with my head switched on, then it's a different Josh Warrington.
What have you got to tick off still apart from that? What have you, I mean, here's the big one. I've raised it with you a million times. What else is there to tick off in the career? Is that fight in America? Obviously, it's 19 or whatever, 19 fights in Leeds in the career, something like that. When are we going to travel with you, or do we need to anymore?
You know what, Gareth? Like it's you know, there's no title on the line there. Is it going to America? You know, people say, "Oh, money must be better." You know, I can understand why you want to go. Well, actually, no, the money's better over here because we do it big compared to America now. You know, big arenas, big stadiums. For me, mate, it's a personal thing. You know, I was just saying, I love boxing. You know, I grew up watching likes of Rick and Joe Calzaghe and Nazim and Lennox Lewis over in the States, and you think fighters who get over there, they've made it. You know what I mean? Even though world titles are over here now, big fights are over here. It's like those who were able to go to America. And I set myself a goal when I seen Carl Frampton do it against, you know, Santa Cruz, and I went over there for the rematch. And even though Carl came up short, it was nice to see his fans and followers and supporters. And obviously, I still deal a lot of tickets myself. And some of the guys who've been coming, Gareth, have been there from me fighting in leisure centres after the main event when I'm a floater, and they've seen me go from there to the first time at the Leeds Arena to Ellen Road to Manchester. And it's like, wow, Josh. So one of my pals from school said, imagine that. If you were there, mate, I'd be going to all of it, because how often do you say you went to school with someone who went or boxed in America? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's so for myself, it's a personal goal. You know, it's for my support and followers. It's like it's a lifetime experience for them as well. For a lot of them, they've been there from the very, very start. That Wednesday night when I boxed for the British title of the Leeds Arena for the first time, to say we were there when Josh was fuck all before he had a title, when they all used to call him a ticket seller, when they all used to call him feather fisted, and now we supported him back then, and we're here now in America. So yeah, obviously it's a big personal thing of mine to just tick that box off, Gareth. And I'd love to unify if I got the opportunity to just to fight another champion. Being in a unification fight would be great for me.
And who would be your personal preference on that? Would it be Santa Cruz? Would it be? It'll be Santa Cruz, yeah.
Just because he's been the man who's been about since I've been on the world scene. 2018, you know, the Gary Russell, Oscar Valdez, then Shakur Stevenson, obviously likes of Mark Magaseo have come in WBC, and now Ray Vargas, but Santa Cruz has always been there. So, you know, my support and followers know about Santa Cruz. They know who he is. You know, I'm not saying they don't know about the other guy, but he seems to be the biggest name out of the lot. So yeah, I'd love that, or you know, or Ray Vargas, because that WBC belt.
Let me just shoot you a sideways question. Obviously, you're big into your football. A lot of your support is around Leeds and Leeds United. Obviously, you've got fans all over the country and over the world. But can I ask you about the World Cup? Have you got a tip for which country might win it? Who might score the most goals?
It's coming home. It's coming home. Harry Kane said he's going to get the Golden Boot. He's looking forward to getting the Golden Boot, isn't he? So, listen, it's going to be an interesting competition. I think because you have that bit of a break of a full season, then you get into it where it's like things in the Premier League is just starting to open up, you know. So I think that's going to be a big influence, and I think there's going to be teams what are not going to perform as well because of that reason. So listen, don't write us off. That's all I'm saying. Don't write us off.
And if England aren't to do it, could you pick another side?
Yeah.
No, you can't, can you, in your mind? You're black and white on those things. I know what you're like.
Too patriotic. So patriotic.
And is there any chance of us getting another documentary about your life? Because the one that was made was brilliant. Is there any chance of a sequel?
Well, I think they could have made a Netflix documentary with the amount of footage that they had. You know, I think they had just shot 300 hours. They were following me for over 3 years. So I think there has been rumors of if the American fight was to come off, people want to document that.
Yeah.
Because, like I say, what the journey has been. You know boxing, Gareth. You know, I've come the long way around. I didn't come off of no GB. I've never boxed for England. You know, coming from the small shows and just a prospect who, you know, built his way up. So it kind of is a bit of a Cinderella story. And
oh, definitely.
I'm not one to shout and scream at press conferences. So it's not the gift of my gab what's got me to where I am, or I'm not a YouTube superstar. It's just been through hard work of the boxing and going the long way around. And 13 years in the game, I think that would be like an icing on the cake. And I know in the grapevine there's a few people interested in capturing that. So, you know, if Eddie pulls his finger out and makes it happen, obviously I've got to do the winning in the ring. But if we can get it through this one and next year, see what happens.
It's great to see you, as always.
Likewise.
And onwards and upwards.
Cheers, Gareth.